Hi, my name is Donna Bailey, and I am a Texas Master Naturalist, which just means that I'm a volunteer and I like to do things out in nature. So, what I wanted to talk about today was pollinator gardens. You may not know what a pollinator garden is or why we need them, but a pollinator garden is a garden that we plant for us, but also for bees and butterflies and birds. Because bees and butterflies in particular are having a hard time. Their numbers are decreasing, and there are lots of reasons for that, but one of the reasons is they don't have enough of the plants that they need to survive. And what kind of plants do they need? They need flowering plants. So pollinator garden is just a word for a garden with a lot of flowers that the bees and the butterflies and the hummingbirds and the moths, they use for food and for shelter. So I brought some of our native plants that are really good for bees and butterflies. This is a Greg's mist flower. It is the favorite flower of all hummingbirds. This is Texas lantana, which you see everywhere, but that is a great flower. This is a little hard to see, but this is mealy blue sage. And in a flower bed, it's just a bed of deep blue purple. Beautiful. This is Esperanza, which probably everybody knows. And then all the salvias are really great plants for the bees and the butterflies. So what do you want to do if you want to plant something for the butterflies and the bees? First of all, you try to find native plants because those are the best plants for our pollinators. For thousands and thousands of years, we've had native plants and we've had our bees and butterflies who come to those native plants. They grew up together. So that's what you want to use. So when you go to a nursery, you ask them, where are your native plants? Because that's what you want to use. Plants like that. And oh, by the way, if you would like to see some of these native plants and what they look like in the ground and how well they do, I would encourage you to go over to the County Extension office because we have planted a demonstration garden there with lots and lots of species of plants, and it's really spectacular. So in any event, first thing you do is plant native plants. What you would like to do if you can is you'd like to have as many kinds of plants as possible. So maybe lantana and salvia and mist flower and esperanza, because the more flowers, the better. You would also like to choose flowers that bloom at different times throughout the year. You would like to have something blooming in your garden from spring to fall, because the bees and the butterflies and most of our birds, they're there from spring to fall. So that's when they need food. And flowers, you probably know, they tend to bloom at different seasons. Like right now, our sages are blooming. Our mealy blue is blooming. The Greg's mist flower is blooming. But in the fall, for example, the mist flowers bloom all the way through fall, and they really need that plant come fall. Also, goldenrod. Goldenrod is something we see all along the roads. That's a hugely valuable plant for our butterflies, and it blooms in the fall. That's peak butterfly time, so you really want flowers then. So you want to have a lot of native species. You want to have as many as you can. And grow as many of a particular plant as you can. So if you have Turk's cap, which like shade, and it's a great plant, then if you have a space for 3 Turk's cap, get 3 Turk's cap, because it's going to make a bigger splash of color. So it's more easy for the bees and the pollinators to see when there's a bigger splash of color. So get as many as you can of each species. One thing that's really important, cannot stress it enough, don't use pesticides or insecticides. Why? Because bees and butterflies, they are insects, and those things are going to kill them just the same way they'd kill a mosquito. you've got aphids on your plants, don't worry about it, because there are caterpillars who eat those aphids. But if you spray something to get rid of those aphids, it's going to poison the caterpillar. So in a butterfly garden, we encourage you not to use Roundup, which, you know, you think, oh, well, that's for weeds. Well, it'll kill the insect that's on that weed as well. So try not to use pesticides. That is another thing, and this is harder to do, to be honest, but butterflies are interesting. As a butterfly, it only sips nectar out of flowering plants, and that's what we've been talking about, pretty flowers, so that the butterflies can sip out of it. And also, by the way, the hummingbirds can sip that nectar. But before a butterfly becomes a butterfly, it is a caterpillar, and a caterpillar doesn't drink nectar. It only eats plants. It only eats plants. And oddly, each caterpillar species will only eat a certain species of plant. And if it can't find that, it will not survive. It will starve to death. So like monarchs and queens, they only grow on milkweed, only on milkweed. Gulf fritillaries are on passion flowers. Our swallowtails, like parsley and dill and fennel, and so that sort of plant. And so, especially if you get into butterfly gardening and you're really serious about it, you will want to try to get some of these host plants as well. So again, over at the demonstration garden that we have at the County Extension Office, we have a lot of milkweed that was donated to us from Formosa. And in that milkweed, we have already this year, we have counted 8 monarch caterpillars. So this is really early, and we already have 8 caterpillars. So that's basically what pollinator gardening is about. And if you do it, then you're creating a small habitat for these pollinators, for these bees and butterflies and hummingbirds. But not only are you doing that, you're creating something really beautiful in your yard, and then you enjoy it as much as they benefit from it. So anyway, if you have any questions, go to the County Extension Office. There are resources. The garden is there, and through them, you know, you can reach out to those of us who have developed the garden, and we love to help people, educate them, and just help them build their gardens. Thanks.